Yeah, I want to talk today three hardest days in my business and how they became some of the most pivotal moments of my business. But before I do that, I want to just kind of give a backstory to my experience into the business, because I feel like sometimes I start right there and I start about, okay, I was on fire, I was excited, I was ready to go, and I don't really give the backstory. So it was August of 2013 when I experienced my first miscarriage. And I was so caught off guard by that experience. Um, I had no reason to think that I was going to have a miscarriage. And so when I experienced that, I thought, what is going on? What is wrong with me? Why is this happening? 2 days later, I met a woman. Her name is Jordan Schrant. She's now a Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living. But at that time, I think she was going for silver. I think she was executive going for silver. And I walked up to her. We introduced each other. We were introduced to each other. And then she asked me if I was a mom. And I shared with her that I was going through this experience. Without missing a beat, you guys, she just immediately said, well, I can help you with getting non-toxic, and I can help you with like working on your hormones and stuff. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Went to her house, learned a bunch of stuff, things that, I now am just amazed that I didn't know. I didn't know that the toxic products in my shower were toxic. I didn't know I was putting toxic deodorant on. I didn't know I was breathing in toxic candles. All of this was an awareness that was built up. But at this same time, I was being approached by people within the network marketing industry, not in Young Living specifically, but it was all about doing this business called network marketing. And I was very turned off to it because I felt that it was always about making a buck. I felt like it was always about getting an upper hand. I felt like it was always about the opportunity. And I just didn't feel personally, my perception of the industry at that time was I didn't want people to feel like I was trying to hustle them or get them to do something. I didn't want people to be invited to my house just so I could sell them something. So for an entire year that I had Young Living products in my home, I was using oils, I was transferring out those toxic products with non-toxic options. For that entire year, I was so quiet about it, and I did not want to say anything to anybody until I had an experience for myself. And when I had an experience for myself, that I realized we have something powerful. Plants are powerful. These oils are exceptional. They're not like what's just on the shelf at TJ Maxx. And so I realized that I had that moment that I call it, where I almost imagine like flip a switch, where I realized that I wasn't hustling people, I was helping people. And this is really important today. Because if you're going to tag a team member on this call and you're going to say, hey, you should watch this, you should do this business with me, it's amazing. They need to know in their heart, first and foremost, that it's not just about making a buck. Now, if someone wants to make a buck, they could, right? Young Living has an awesome compensation plan. If they know how to do the skills and they apply themselves in a consistent manner, they can learn how to do the work that will eventually bring them a paycheck. But here's the thing. If they don't have that belief about the product first, then it's not going to be in a way that feels in alignment with who they are. And so for me, and I want to just go back for a second and make sure I'm very, very clear on this point. I'm not promising you can make money. It really comes down to the individual and their work ethic and what they produce, their amount of sales in their Young Living organization. I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. So when I flipped that switch and I realized I want to do this, I want to be the messenger. I want to communicate the power of this oil to the people in my network. I want to help people with this product. It was bigger than just I could make a buck. I could buy coffee without having to check my bank account. I could maybe take over paying our house bill. All of that did happen, but it wasn't without the belief first that these oils are awesome, that these products can be life-changing for people, that people need to go non-toxic. And that right there is what sets Young Living apart. That's what sets us apart from any other, that I've experienced. At least I'm not passionate about any other product like I'm passionate about these oils or Ningxia. I have this little thing I do where when my Ningxia bottle gets to be right here, I just drink it straight out of the bottle because I feel so legit. And if you do this too, tag me on Instagram, drink it in slow motion. You feel really legit. But I do this because I love the products and I believe it helps people. I'm not looking to get a hand up. I'm not looking to get like hustle people, you know? And I know you're not either. And that's why you're here. So if you can start with that belief that's so ingrained into who you are first, everything else and the skills and the desire to grow, all of that is going to become second nature to be researching, learning, growing, because you have this foundation of belief. So 3 hardest days in my business and how they became the most empowering day. When I started my business, I was so bad at this. You guys, it was hysterical. I enrolled my mother-in-law after 3 months of trying to enroll people, and she was the first person that said yes. I was shaking. I was nervous. I was sweating. I was just literally so, and I talked her out of Essential Rewards because I was like, yeah, you don't need to do that. Like, you figure out your kit first and then Essential Rewards. And now I'm like, she needs like to have all these products every month. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, I was really bad at this. Finally found my groove with it, doing classes, starting teaching people, inviting people over. And I hit silver, and I was so excited to hit silver. And I thought, this is it. This is it. This is my team. We're going to the top. I've got this thing. Like, I know how to do it now. This is awesome. I've got my start. I had coaching one day with a group of people in my silver leg, and they were all wanting to go to the top. So they're saying, we're going to go for platinum by November. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if they're platinum by November, that's like at least 100,000 OGV. That's going to be insane for my business. We're just going to go to the top together. It wasn't even 24 hours after that phone call that I got another phone call, one by one, from all of these people, and they decided to go a different direction. And I was crushed. I could not believe that all of my hopes and dreams of hitting like silver the next month were like dwindling because they were canceling their accounts with Young Living. And I was just like, this can't be true. This cannot be true. And I remember sitting in that coffee shop after getting the phone calls, and I just said, you know what? I can either choose that this is the end, and I'm like, never mind, I guess this doesn't work for me. Or I can choose that if I did it once, I can do it again. If I've enrolled one person, I can enroll another. If I've done 500, I could do 500,000. Like, that mindset of if you've done it once, you can do it again, that can take you through those experiences of when people drop off or people quit or people go a different direction. And it doesn't have to mean anything personal. It just means stop hoping to get lucky. If I can be super straightforward and transparent, like, stop hoping. If I had to tell myself, Bethany, stop hoping to get lucky. Stop hoping that you could just enroll like these 6 perfect brand partners that would just take off and go. No, instead, take the responsibility, take the torch in my own hands and say, if I can do it, if I can create habits and create skills to enroll awesome people, I can do it again. And I'm willing to put myself in that position to do it again. I don't want to get to the top and say, phew, I'm glad I'm done. I'm glad I've done all the work. I don't have to do anything else. No, that would be so not in the way that I want to do this. In alignment for me means I'm having a great time. I'm growing through the process. When I fall in love with the process, then the results are just a byproduct. The results just come. So stop hoping to get lucky and start hoping to be better. This is that experience in my business, that silver leg dropping off, was my business's 2008, you know, where everything crashed and everyone realized that their leadership capacity wasn't quite up to what the market needed. That was my moment that I got to choose either never mind or let's go bigger. So that was the first hardest day. And because I chose to go bigger, I had a month after that of all in ballistic excitement, and I worked my tail off. And by some miracle, on the last day of the month at 11 p.m., maintained silver. And I could not believe it because it just seemed so impossible. But because there was that belief and that energy, and even if I hadn't maintained silver, that would have still been there because that's the track that my mind was on. So that's the first one, is the silver leg. Okay. Day number 2, that was the hardest day in my business, was when I was about 2 weeks postpartum with my daughter, Lennon. She's 4 now. I had a 1-year-old as well, incredibly sleep deprived. My husband was working full time. You guys get it. You know, this is your life too. And I had a few minutes to work, and I went onto Facebook, and I was going to talk to some people about what we have and follow up. And I saw on a dream team member, this is a dream team, is someone you really want to work with, a dream team member's page, that she was enrolled by someone else. She had posted about thieves, and my heart just sunk. And I was like, what? I wanted to enroll her. She was going to be on my team. and I just was so upset, and all the emotions flooded my body. I was tired. I was just feeling so down, and it was just this perfect experience because I realized no leaf goes unturned in Bethany Shipley's business anymore. I had the opportunity to say, well, I guess never mind. She's going to pick someone else. That's right. I'm not really suited for this anyway. This isn't. And at the time, you guys, I was barely hanging on to gold. I was flipping from silver to gold back and forth. So I wasn't even gold. I had hit gold, but I wasn't gold. And I'm like, well, maybe this, I could have said, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe people just don't like me. Maybe this is the limit that I'm supposed to go. And instead, I said, no, this is the day that Bethany Shipley becomes so organized that no one falls through the cracks. And if they enroll with someone else, it's not because of lack of contact. It's not because I forgot to follow up. It's not because of it. No leaf goes unturned. So that day was so heavy and sad, but I made a decision at that point that literally forced me into a new way of working. That was, I'm treating my business like a CEO, and I'm no longer just going to go, oh yeah, if they want oils, they'll come to me. I have to position myself and work and follow up. So I became organized. That experience forced me into organization, forced me into collaboration of making sure my schedule was actually on point. Third hardest day of my business was last year. And you might think, what? You're diamond. Like, how could you have a hard day? Well, I'll tell you how. I was very sick in pregnancy. I have a sweet little baby. She just walked in. My dad's carrying her. She just walked in. She's sleeping. But at that point, I had 3 little kids, ages 5, 3, and 1. And I was very sick, 14 weeks pregnant, dealing with a lot of different things in the pregnancy that were just really challenging. And I felt that we needed movement and momentum, but I felt so emotionally and physically exhausted that I did not know if I could start something, if I could launch a campaign or get everybody excited or have conversations. I felt sick looking at my phone, the motion of my phone moving, I would just be sick. And and trust me when I say I'm not in the mindset of push through there are times that you need to rest. There are times that you need to take care of yourself. But there's also times where that the perfect situation isn't going to happen, and you have to make a decision. Is this a time you want to grow or not? And I have never been more proud of myself. Not the day I hit diamond, not the day I hit silver. I've never been more proud of myself than when I showed up for the 9 months in 2020. Every single day, every call I said I would be on, every Monday night training I said I would be on, every Monday night skills training I said I would be on, every weekday of the huddle call that my team does, I said I would be on. I showed up every single day. And sometimes in your business, especially in times like these, and I'm saying this because 2020 has had a lot of unique experiences for a lot of people, you have to decide what you're going to do and set aside the outcome and say, I'm not going to consider what's the outcome until I have followed through with my word. You don't analyze if it's working while you're working. You analyze what you've done 3 months after. And those 3 days were pivotal for my business. The day my silver leg dropped off, the day my person enrolled with someone else, and the days that I was very sick and still continued to show up for my business and my family and my legacy and my asset income and all of and the people that I was yet to serve and all of that. Those were the days that actually put me on a trajectory of success. And so the reason I'm telling you this is hard days are going to come. And if they haven't already, congrats, but they will come. They absolutely will. You get to be the one to decide. Are they going to make you choose a story that says, I guess this doesn't work for me, or I guess it's just not going to work out? Or is it going to choose to say, actually, no, the same situation has happened to other people and they've gotten different results. So I'm going to choose this route. And you get to be the one to decide that. And I go back to mindset, and I go back to identity, and I go back to belief all the time. But here's the reality. No one can choose to have that belief except for you. You are the only one that can choose. It's not going to come from a coaching session. It's not going to come from a Zoom call. It's not going to come from an event. Yes, those might be the stimulus to having that experience, but you actually are the one that has to have that experience in a guttural way, in a way that's unshakable, in a way that if your best person on your team who you were sure you were going to the top with decides to go a different route, it doesn't ruffle you. It doesn't shake you because your belief is so strong. And I will tell you, that is the hardest work. That is the work. Keeping yourself in a mindset of belief is the work that if you do that, that will position you in a different way. And we want to talk about the strategies all the time, right? We want to talk about, well, what exactly are you doing on Instagram to grow? Well, what exactly are you doing to grow your team? And I think those things are valid, but most of the time, that's not the problem. Most of the time, it's actually over here. And it's a belief about ourselves that we're not really in or out. We're just kind of toe over the line. You know, we're like, I don't know, we'll see how this works for me. And that's just not the way that people go to the top. You have to have a mindset that is unshakable, and you are responsible for that. I can't create that in you, but I can tell you, if you want that moment right now, you can choose to have that moment right now. Right now, you can choose in your body physiologically to choose that kind of that all in, that poker chips all in feeling. You get to choose that right now. And if you love the oils and you're passionate about them and you know they work and you want to share them with people, you get to choose your strategy after you get to a place where you're like, this is what I'm doing. And that decision is the energy that people want to be around. People want to join your team when you're in that energy. It's just true. So let's talk about strategy. I talked on the Discover YL event about 5 habits that I recommend people do every single day to grow their business. These habits can be talked about in different terms, but personal development, expand your network, engage your network, expand your team, and engage your team. Here's what I want to talk about today. We, as people who have this big dream of, I want to grow Young Living, I got to bring new members in. We start with our needs in mind. And tell me if I'm wrong, because I know I'm not. Find the lie. We start with our needs in mind. We get this idea for the business. We're like, we want to do it. We want to go. And then we're like, okay, how can I get enrollments? That question, how can I get enrollments, is about me. That's about me. That's about Bethany Shipley show, right? That's how can I benefit? When I'm saying, and this is going to be a little bit of a weird term, but I'm using it on purpose. We're thinking too far ahead. We are in the business, you guys, of contribution. We're in the business of making friends. We're in the business of meeting needs. We should not be thinking about that yet. We should start with the very small habit that says expand your network. I want to share a story. We've been in Florida for 2 months. We're leaving tomorrow to go back to Kansas City. And I've been working here from the beach on my laptop and watching my kids play in the sand on the beach. It's been one of the coolest experiences. My kids are now 6 and 4, 2 and 4 months. And so the 6 and 4-year-old, they'll go play on the beach. Well, we've been here for so long that most of the people that are around us have come and left and come and, then new people come and leave. It's a very, popular rental area. So the other week we had a family that came in the house behind us, and they had 2 kids. They were ages 6 and 4, just like my kids, a little girl and a little boy. And I saw them out on the beach, and I thought, oh, this is going to be such a great experience because my kids can go down and play and they can have some friends for the week. This is going to be so great. So I went to my kids and I said, hey, Lennon's my daughter, and Moses is my son. Lennon and Moses, there are kids out on the beach. You should totally go and meet them and see if you can make friends. Well, Moses, who's 6, he said, Mom, I'm kind of shy. I don't really like to go and meet people. I just like to go and sit by people and wait till they meet me. And I said, okay, that's fair. I'm like, how's that working out for you? And he's like, yeah. Then my daughter, I said, Lennon, go meet those people. She busted out the front door, runs right down to them, positions herself right by them. And before I could even look again, she's over there playing with them with her shovel and and their toys, their sandcastle toys, and they're having the time of their life, jumping in water, laughing, scream laughing. And my son is sitting over by the side watching and literally waiting for someone to include him. And I'm sitting on the porch going, oh man, I really hope Moses will just get the confidence to walk over there and meet these people, because he would have so much fun playing with that little boy. And what's holding him back is his fear of rejection. And, I've just got all this going on in my head. And then I looked at the situation. I zoomed up to the sky and I'm like, I'm on the porch. I'm not going down there. I'm not connecting with that person, their mom. The kid's mom, I'm over here saying, oh, please, Moses, please go meet people. Yet I wasn't doing that. And what I wanted to say was the potential for connection is so worth it. But what was holding Moses back was the same thing was holding me back. was, well, what if they think I'm weird? What if they perceive me to be like just kind of awkward and weird? And maybe I have a belief about myself that's like, well, I'm just not the person who like goes and talks to people, which now I have changed that. And I do believe that I am, but you might still be there where you're like, I'm just not the type. I'm just, anything that starts with I'm just not, go ahead and recognize that as a story that you're telling yourself that you have the power to change at any moment. I'm just not the person. Well, what if you were? What if you could be? What if you could choose in this moment? And here's the hardest part. When you start acting in alignment with a new identity, you feel self-conscious by how other people who already know you are going to perceive you. So if you're just not somebody who goes live on Facebook because that's just not who you are, but you choose right now that you are someone who puts yourself out there, you are someone who goes and shares your heart on social media without worrying about what people think. And if you mess up, you mess up. What's going to happen is you're going to start to do it. And then you're going to have someone, friends, spouse, family members, mom, dad, they're like, that's not who I know you to be. And you're like, yeah, that's not who I know me to be either. So you have to be aware of that situation that's going to happen, because if you're going to start putting yourself into new circles and you're just not someone who does that, it's going to take some reframing. It's going to take some decisions to recognize that you might be perceived by others in a way that you have been in the past, but you realize you have the power to change that at any moment. I hope that's making sense. So when you're talking about growing on Instagram or enrolling people, I just want to zoom out and remember our first habit is segregated from the rest. Our first habit of expanding our network is segregated from any of the, we're not expanding our network for the sake of engaging or expanding our team. If you do that, it becomes about you and you, you and you and you, and me and me and me. It doesn't come for them. So we have to segregate the habits and focus on expanding your network. Eventually, when you move into the next habit of engaging your network, oils might come up, but remember the first habit is separate from the rest. Expand your network. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not willing to do what is necessary for this business. I've had it happen before. It happened to me before, where I went out the gates with my business, decided to talk to everybody that I knew, tell them about these oils. I love them. I think they're amazing. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, oh, I actually told everyone that I know that I'm doing these oils. Now I can either hound the people that I've already talked to, maybe they're interested, maybe they're not, or maybe I could expand my network so that I have more people to talk to when it becomes time to engage my network. And so I decided that route, and it was terrifying. I remember going to library time, sitting down at library time, looking around at all the other moms at library time going, I am terrified to put myself out there and expand my network. It's so much easier just to make small talk about the kids than to say, have that connection and conversation and see what they're about and see what lights them up, and then add them on Instagram so you can be friends forevermore. That's terrifying, because that's the moment that you're either sitting on the beach beside watching at the situation, or you're immersing yourself. The thing that will set you apart and make you feel really confident about doing that is just doing it. It's not going to feel right the first time. You put on confidence as if you're putting on a pair of pants. That's what Danny Johnson says. Put on confidence as if you're putting on a pair of pants. They might feel so good, you'll leave them on. I've taught people before too. Have an identity piece of jewelry or a glasses or a hat that when you need to show up as a silver, as a gold, what I mean by that is you're showing up energetically as that rank before you get there. You put on those glasses, and those are your Royal Crown Diamond glasses. When you walk into library time, you're ready to interact as a Royal Crown Diamond and connect with people and engage with them. That is your moment that you choose. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's not going to come with a few flops. I've had a few flops myself, where one time I was connecting with a mom. I was super excited. She was new to town. I was excited I was going to get her plugged into the moms group of Kansas City. And as we got talking, she saw my age on social media. At the time I was 25. And she said, yeah, never mind. And she's like, you're only 25. Yeah, never mind. And she walked away. Was it uncomfortable? A little bit. Was that on her? Absolutely. Was I offended? I don't know. Maybe it stung for a second just because I want people to like me, but it wasn't the end of the road. And it definitely wasn't the end of my way of doing this business, which is add value to people, help people, and I get what I want in return. It's not even in return. It's in just on the side, like on the side, I get what I want. It has nothing to do with me. So I wanted to share that because when I've been doing some calls lately and we talk about growing a business, the first thing people want to do is see how they can get. And I'm like, let's flip that. See how you can give. Focus 5 days, focus 10 days on simply just giving to as many people as possible as a contributor, complimenting, genuine compliments, asking them genuine questions, fall in love with people, fall in love with them. And guess what? By a result, they like you. If you fall in love with people and see the greatness in people, they will like you. I bet you've never disliked someone who thought highly of you. That is very telling. I'm going to say it again because that's really important. I bet you've never disliked someone who thought highly of you. So think highly of people, be their cheerleader, be their person. And when you do that in a place that's grounded and confident, watch what happens in return. If you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. And so when it comes down, let me boil this all back. Bottom line is that there is strategy. And the strategy that most of you are probably lacking right now is expanding your network. So that's the one I want you to focus on if that's where you are. Recognize in you what's holding you back from doing that. And remember, you get to change your identity and your story at any point that you want to. You hold the power. Think about this. I'm about to be 28 years old on April 1st, which means 30 more shopping days till my birthday. No rush, but you know. So I have most likely lived 1/3 of my life. How old you are, you could do the math. You've most likely lived. What if you were to choose to just live in your limitation for the rest of your life? You could do that. Most people do, right? You could choose that. Or you could choose to have a really magnificent rest of your life by choosing to push past those things that are uncomfortable. The choice is up to us. And I'm calling out in you on the daily dose of valor to valor up and choose to just go forth with the belief and go forth with the confidence. You get to choose that story right now. And I believe in you. And I know that you have people surrounding you that believe in you. So let's just do it together. All right. That's what I have for today. Thanks for letting me train on here. Hopefully we can hang out on Instagram.